Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Bob and Chris here for Join or Die podcast. J-O-D. J-O-D. J-O-D.
J-O-D.
We're new to this,
Clearly.
at least video-wise. We did have a podcast before where you can go back and listen to if you wanted to. It was called the B3 podcast. You can listen to it on Spotify or I guess anywhere that you listen to your podcast. But we're trying video. We figure we're kind of too handsome not to be recorded, right?
There's a lot of ugly.
Yeah. Maybe we should
up a little bit.
Maybe we should have stuck to video, audio only. But anyway, we're going to try to do this once a week, cover whatever news we can that happened in the prior week. Obviously, today we're going to be going through mainly the Donald Trump assassination. Yep. We'll hit on how the Democrats pretty much ran a coup on Biden, kicked him out, and implanted Harris as their nominee for 2024. So we both have a background, law enforcement, and Chris has a little bit more than I do.
Yeah, I think what really, when I was talking about why we want to do this so much, when you have a background in this, just to give my background a little bit, I was a cop in Philly for 21 years. I was on the SWAT team, and I was a firearms instructor. And while on the SWAT team, we did dignitary protection with the Secret Service, with the Pope, Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, Barack Obama, Donald Trump, Mike Pence. So I know, I didn't work for the Secret Service, but we worked as an attachment to the Secret Service for the dignitary protection. And a lot of that did cover doing briefings with them and high ground and Overwatch, which seems to be the most spoken part of this just complete and total botched execution plan. So you get a little tired of hearing people who really don't know the workings of that inner perimeter. So again, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a savant in that area, but I've definitely worked in that area. I've worked with guys in that area. We've talked inside that, the operations of SWAT teams with Secret Service, and we have all agreed this is something we've never seen before. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today to clear that up. Just real quick, none of what we are drinking or wearing today reflects the views or the opinions we are sharing, and we are not sponsored by any of these said companies.
Oh, we'll take sponsorship.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
That's another thing we do enjoy. If anybody out here watches this and listen to our original podcast, pretty much what we do is we speak about whatever the heck we want to speak about while drinking some bourbon. Sometimes we get a little tipsy with the bourbon, which makes the show a little bit more interesting. So
you guys started off strong, but I kind of lost you in the middle.
I think the best way to start off this new venture that we're doing is to make a toast.
Make a toast?
What are we drinking?
So today we're drinking 1792.
Very appropriate.
Very appropriate. Again, we are not sponsored. Nor does 1792 share the viewpoints or opinions we are discussing today. But they will be refreshing our palate.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so cheers to a better America.
Smooth.
Yes, very
smooth.
It's called sweet wheat, and that's exactly what it is. Very smooth.
Trying to see what flavor I can get out of it.
It'll come out a little bit after that first couple.
Yeah.
So let's where do you want to start off with this? Because again, I'm still aggravated. We're talking weeks. This has happened. The assassination was like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. So let's go from the beginning. Exactly what happened, what was uncovered, how the day went. Timeline-wise.
Yeah, it's better that we're discussing it weeks later than a day later, because so much more has been uncovered and so many lies have been, like the government lying, go figure. It's just been debunked. And after the I don't know, the non-compliance congressional hearing, with Cheadle, was that her name?
Cheadle.
Yeah,
Kimberly Cheadle?
Yeah. It's just ridiculous. So I'm glad some people were like, "Oh, this is old news now." What's an attempted assassination on the president? I feel like no one's really covering it very much, the way it should be. I feel like if this happened whatever, 10, 12, whatever years ago when Barack Obama was in office, we'd be talking about it constantly. And you should. It's an attempted assassination on the U.S. president.
Absolutely.
So we're a former and the lead for 2024. So I think it's kind of good that we're discussing it a while later because we've received so much more information and lies.
And you know what though, and that's the thing with like legacy media. Everyone wants to be the first.
Mm-hmm.
The first, and that's how a lot of this misinformation that they love to talk about so much, that's how it gets out there. You just want to be the first, so you'll say some stuff, and people, because there was a picture of a guy who is they were saying was the shooter,
right?
Then he makes a video.
Then he makes a video saying, no, it's not me.
I mean, everybody just wants to be the first. So like you said, it's kind of better that like we're doing this a couple weeks after, and we have so much information, and it's still more that's coming in,
right? So
tomorrow there probably will be, because tomorrow's Monday. I think they're still having hearings. I'm not sure. I know they had Ray up there, but I real quick, all right. The first hearing with Cheadle, it was bipartisan. Everyone was on board, even AOC.
Which you knew she was in trouble when you have that kind of nowadays when both groups are coming at you.
But I noticed when Ray was up, it was completely different. They were going back to like the whataboutisms. What about Trump said this? Trump said that.
Yeah.
So just like that.
Yeah. Well,
so it's almost like they found their villain.
Well, she was a useful idiot. That's why she was hired. Ray is he's more of an establishment guy. That's kind of why. And guess what? You can blame Trump for Ray being there. These were Trump's biggest mistakes in, what was it, 16? Let me get in there. 16? 16. Was taking people like Ray, like Pompeo, like Barr, like Bolton. Mm-hmm. I get it. You probably don't know any better. You're being told. This is why I'm hoping at 24, if he can get there, if they'll allow him to get there, he will learn from those mistakes. But yeah, Ray is he's the swamp. I mean, for the fact that he actually came out and said we're not sure if he actually got hit by a bullet, and then the FBI. So he's the director. Then the FBI had to correct the director's,
statement.
Yeah, BS.
Yeah.
We don't know if he got shot or not. We don't know if it was shrapnel. Could have been something from a podium.
Has he said anything yet? Has Ray come out and said, I was wrong? I know the FBI came out with a statement.
I don't know if he corrected himself, but the FBI corrected the director.
Yeah.
That's like you correcting your boss. So I don't know. I don't even know why he would say that. I mean, we see the pictures, and I understand pictures can be, but no one's disproven that one picture where you see the bullet, literally the vapor trail going through exactly where Trump was hit.
That was a crazy picture.
That is insane. I mean, you almost think it's fake, but no one's debunked it. No, they're like, no, no one has said that's a fake picture.
I mean,
so I'm assuming it's real.
I'll tell you why he said it. And well, in my opinion, he said it because he is still working at the behest of the president, who is right now currently allegedly Joe Biden.
But what?
So he doesn't want to. He's not trying to lose his job. And that's their narrative right now, is they're trying to switch it that, he didn't get hit by a bullet, it was shrapnel. Either way, that's stupid. Who cares? There was still an attempted assassination.
Right. Whether it hit him, whether it didn't, whether he was grazed, whether they missed, whether it was shrapnel, it doesn't change the fact that they tried to kill him.
But that's what they try to do. This is like typical like defense attorney type tactics. Create a distraction over here.
Sure.
Oh, they're lying.
Keep your eye off the ball.
Shot. He's just making himself look tougher than he really is.
Right.
Oh, I got shot. When in reality it was shrapnel, it was a piece of glass with a teleprompter, whatever they were trying to say. But it's just a distraction from what actually happened, and that was the fact that someone tried to kill a former president.
How about this? I'll quote Hillary Clinton. At this point, what difference does it make?
Boom.
How about that?
Boom.
All right.
Boom. All right. So sorry. So we can go on from the timeline, and I got a kind of a different timeline. So this happened July 13th, right? So July 5th.
Is that what it was?
I think it was the 13th.
I have no idea what the date was.
I'm pretty sure it was the 13th.
Okay.
July 5th, U.S. Secret Service first notifies Butler County Emergency Services Unit that on July 13th there will be a Trump rally. July 6th.
So let's do that. Let's just They had 8 days.
Mm-hmm.
They had 8 days to prepare for this.
July 6th, which is a great day in American history. You know the significance of July 6th?
No.
My birthday. Crooks conducted a Google search for how far away was Oswald from Kennedy. FBI Director Christopher Wray said in the House Judiciary Committee on July 24th.
And I can't believe any of this.
Mm-hmm.
Just that. I don't know that.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm supposed to believe a guy who said he wasn't shot.
I know.
Now. So,
Well, okay. Crooks also
Grain of salt.
registered for the rally that day. Crooks visited the rally site about a week before the shooting and spent 20 minutes there. Now, I heard, and I'm not 100% sure, but I heard he lives an hour away from
that's
here.
what I originally heard. He lives about an hour
But
away.
then I heard he came on a bike. But then I heard he came in a van or he came in a car.
Yeah, did the van have the bike in it?
Yeah, did he transport the bike? I'm not sure. July 8th, ESU and U.S. Secret Service meet to discuss the rally 5 days in advance, according to an independent investigation by Republican Wisconsin Senator.
And that makes
Ron
sense.
Johnson.
So ESU, emergency, that's their, I guess, Butler County SWAT team.
Yep.
That makes sense. We usually start getting briefs a few days
State
before.
troopers, whoever's involved, because I would imagine it wasn't just Butler County. I know the state troopers were involved because that's a small.
You would have
county,
to be.
So
Yeah, it's a small.
Yeah, they're gonna need to
Sure.
outsource some of their tactical teams. July 10th, Secret Service conducts a site visit at the rally grounds 3 days before Trump's visit. So right there, okay, you conduct a site visit. Now you're looking at what buildings you have. You're looking at what needs to be manned.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Mm-hmm. So just to stop right there, when we're doing this, the day of, or even maybe the day before, any high-end dignitary personnel comes in, they start shutting down 95. Usually it's the state troopers or maybe traffic or somebody like that for the police do it. They won't even allow cherry pickers with like maybe if it's Pico or somebody like that, they won't even let cherry pickers up hundreds and hundreds of yards away. So just to give you an idea, they wouldn't even let people who are kind of supposed to be there doing real work, they won't even let them up when this kind of stuff is going on, just because it's considered, it can be a breach in security or a problem with security. And again, if it's up high, high ground, they won't even allow it. So as we start to go through this is stuff I know for a fact, because you would hear it on radio. Hey, we have these guys up on I-95. Who are they? Oh, they're work. They need to move.
Yeah.
These are legitimate people who are doing real work, and it's still like they need to move.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. July 12th, I didn't even know this. Crooks went to a shooting range, Ray said. What do you think he was doing there the day before the rally? Sighting in. July 13th.
Again, allegedly.
Yeah.
I mean, if this is a shooting range, where's the tape?
That's a good point.
You would show it. If you have this evidence, you would show this.
Mm-hmm. July 13th, Crooks visited the rally site for about 70 minutes sometime that morning, Ray said. How do they know that?
Again, if you have this evidence, you would say it. There's no transparency
Cell
here.
phone maybe tracking?
You can make the argument that it was pinged, but then you're also saying when we got his phone, there was nothing in it.
Mm-hmm.
So a 20-year-old kid has nothing in his phone.
Mm-hmm. July 13th, 9 a.m., ESU hosts a briefing with the local SWAT and sniper units from Butler County, Beaver County, and Washington County, providing security. So yeah, like I said, outsourced also all for 3 different counties.
So hold on. Say that again?
ESU hosts a briefing with the local SWAT and sniper units from Butler County, Beaver, and Washington.
Units, plural.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
How many times did we hear in the beginning it was one team set up?
Mm-hmm.
So where does the unit, why are we, again, it says units, sniper units. So there's pairs.
Mm-hmm.
Just, we heard for a while there was only one pair of snipers.
During the briefing, they show a 46-slide presentation that outlines which law enforcement unit is responsible for covering which areas of the rally and staging in sniper areas. Federal law enforcement apparently did not attend the briefing. According to Johnson's office, attendees of the meeting said Secret Service was initially not going to provide snipers for the event, but changed course for unknown reasons.
There's never a time where, again, when we
why would you not provide it from the beginning? This is Donald Trump. This is one of the most famous. This is probably the most famous man. I've seen videos where people ask people on the street who is Kamala Harris, and they have no clue.
Everybody knows who Trump
not
is.
one person they'll ask probably in the world who is Donald Trump, and they say, I don't know.
Right. No, I've never heard.
Well, let's not give him sniper.
I've never heard of the Secret Service not providing high ground coverage, sniper coverage.
Mm-hmm.
And even our SWAT team would assist with Overwatch.
And they changed course for unknown reasons. What were the reasons?
That makes no sense either. I mean,
July 13th, 9:27 a.m. to 9:42 a.m. Shooter Thomas Matthew Crooks stops at a Home Depot alone in his hometown of Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. He purchases a 5-foot, 5-inch aluminum dual platform ladder and exits the Home Depot parking lot in a vehicle, Johnson's office said. Now, I know they said that there was no ladder there. The ladder that was there was not provided from the shooter.
Mm-hmm.
I think wherever they got the ladder from, that's how they used it to get up on the roof. But he did not use that.
So how did he get up there?
I think Director Ray said that they believe there was an AC unit. He used that to get on and then shimmy his way up to the roof. Why? I don't know. Like, I mean, you bought a ladder. I don't know. There's a lot of weird.
There's nothing.
Like, why buy a ladder if you're not going to use it? Maybe he bought the ladder and he was like, man, didn't think about it. And he was like, all right, well, how am I going to take this ladder without somebody noticing me?
Yeah, along with this rifle.
Yeah, with this rifle. July 13th, 10 a.m., 2 local law enforcement snipers are on the second floor of the American Glass Research Building that the shooter apparently shot from. So 2 local law enforcement snipers are on the second floor. Okay, so they're
second floor. So they're inside?
They're inside giving the high ground to anyone.
But
and the reasons I'm hearing that they did that is because it was too hot to be on the roof.
I've never heard of that before.
Listen,
we've had guys deployed in the heat. We've had guys deployed in City Hall. So if you remember several years ago, it was like the Mummers Parade.
Mm-hmm.
It was freezing cold out. I mean, it was like temperatures in the single digits. Wind chills were below 0. Mm-hmm. These guys were deployed at the top of City Hall, like in the tower, outside. And you're talking about standing still for hours in sub-zero wind chill.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't that bad.
No,
it wasn't that bad. That is not. This is what, if you're a sniper, this is what we have guys deployed to Lincoln Financial Field who will stay up in the mezzanine under the stands in December or January. So it's just.
Well, the roof is too hot. That roof is too hot, but the other snipers that were on the other roofs, that was okay.
No, well, this is also why, again, if you're a sniper, you have your drag bag, you have some kind of mat you're going to lay on. Mm-hmm. These are all excuses that the people who are making up these excuses never went through any kind of sniper school, never did Overwatch, because there's always a way around it. There's always a way around it. So I don't believe any of that. That's absolute bull.
July 13th, at some point, Crooks' parents contact law enforcement Saturday, hours before he opened fire on the former president, a source later told Fox News Digital. The aspiring assassin's mother and father tell local police that Crooks was missing and that they were concerned about his welfare, according to the source. It remains unclear if they knew that he was in possession of an AR-15 rifle that belonged to his father. Crooks rode his bike through the Butler venue, ditching it under a tree. So here's a picture of his bike under a tree. July 13th, 3:50 p.m.
I don't even believe the way that bike is parked. Like it's like it's just parked so perfectly. It's like right on there. I don't believe it.
In post, I'll try to figure out how to post. Like I said, we're new to this. I'm going to try to figure out how to post this picture of the bike. Basically, just parked really nicely.
It's about 10 feet away from the tree, under the bow of it. It just looks like he was like, may as well just go have a picnic under it. It's just not like I'm about to assassinate a president.
July 13th, 3:50 p.m. to 4 p.m. Crooks flew a drone about 200 yards away from where Trump was going to be speaking, Ray said. So that's the day of, 3:50 p.m. to 4 p.m. July 13th, 5:04 p.m. Now we're getting closer to the incident. Crooks is seen on video walking to the AGR building. That's the building where he eventually shimmied up and
the high ground that no one was covering.
Yeah. July 13th, 5:10 p.m., so 6 minutes later, law enforcement officers spot Crooks, who was identified as a suspicious person of interest, at the rally about an hour before Trump walked up on the podium. The FBI director said on July 17th congressional briefing. So right there, he's a suspicious person. Why wasn't he stopped?
He would have been stopped. If you're a suspicious person, you're automatically getting stopped.
Mm-hmm.
There's no.
Mm-hmm. Local law enforcement notified command about Crooks prior to the shooting and received confirmation that the Secret Service was aware of his presence. So I want If this is radio communication, it's recorded. Where is it?
They're saying I think they're saying there was either they lost it or there was no recordings. I don't know.
And that's bullshit. Okay, so if there's no local law enforcement notified command about Crooks prior to the shooting and received confirmation.
To be
how
clear,
did they notify them? And I'll tell you right now, local law enforcement has all their radios recorded.
Local law enforcement has all their radios recorded. The majority of local law enforcement do not have direct comms to the Secret Service.
No.
Usually what happens is local law enforcement are on their own bands. If they have to get to the Secret Service, there's usually some kind of command center that can kind of be the middleman. If you're on the SWAT team, we may be on a different band, but we usually have, the way it would work with us would be maybe you'll have 3 SWAT team members and 1 CAT team member. The CAT team is the counter assault team. They're kind of like the guys you'll probably see in black for the Secret Service. It's like their version of a SWAT team. They'll usually sit with one of us and they'll kind of direct us on what we're doing. And the good thing is we have communications with the local police department and the Secret Service, so we don't need a middleman. And that's my cat. Keep that trigger. Anyway, off you go.
Law enforcement officers then identified a building of interest while assessing the area and realized the building was outside the perimeter for rally security. Which I don't even know what that means.
What was it again?
I mean, I know what they're saying, but I can't understand how that's even a possibility.
No, I mean, what's going to happen is if they have a person of suspicion, the Secret Service is even going to have someone do it themselves, or they're going to come over to the local police, whoever the middle person is, the liaison who can ride both bands between the police and the Secret Service. The Secret Service will come over to that cop or that supervisor. This is the problem. Have your guys go over and investigate it. And then when you go over to investigate it, you're probably going to get ID off of the person or whatever, and then talk about who's it going to, you go back to the Secret Service. That person's going to be removed from the area. Like, none of this happened. Now, maybe they're fine. If that person's fine and it's just like, hey, he's just a weird dude, but nothing's, then after that investigation, he'll be free to go. Someone's still going to keep an eye on him, but none of that happened.
Yeah.
None of that happened.
Now, this is where I really start to get pissed off. July 13th, 5:14 p.m. What Trump was shot, 6:08 or something like that?
I don't remember.
All right, so it was after 6, I know that. So 5:14 p.m. on July 13th, a sniper at the AGR building takes pictures of crooks. How'd that happen?
Sniper 1 takes pictures.
Sniper 1 at the AGR building, which is the building where he was on top of, takes pictures of crooks. You're taking pictures of this guy an hour before this happened.
So if you're taking pictures an hour before it happens, so the timeline is basically we have a suspicious person. Then whatever it is, 15, 30 minutes later, they take a picture of. Now, obviously this guy is a person of interest enough that this is the second time he's popped up on their radar, where now you have snipers taking pictures. Again, why isn't this guy being pulled aside? He's on the radar twice now. Twice. Why isn't he being pulled aside?
5:28 p.m. to 5:41 p.m. AGR Sniper 1 takes a picture of a bicycle and what appears to be 2 bags located near the AGR building. It is unclear what happened to the bicycle and bags after July 13, 2024. The same sniper spots crooks looking at his phone and a rangefinder. The sniper then sends a message to the sniper group regarding the suspicious person, later identified as Crooks, according to Johnson's office. They identified Crooks for not matriculating, Pennsylvania State Police Commissioner Christopher Parris said during the July 24th hearing. Crooks never made it through the secure perimeter into the venue space itself.
It doesn't matter.
No.
And the secure, keep in mind, they're calling it a secure perimeter. What was it, 100 yards?
150.
150 yards it's a football field. It's basically count a football field when you're watching a pro game, and the extension of the end zones and just past that. It's basically the entire length of the football field past the end zone, which anybody who shoots a rifle will tell you that is a 1 foot chip shot in golf. That is really what that is.
AGR, this is around the same time period. So remember, we're at July 13th, 5:28 to 5:41 p.m. AGR Sniper 1 is told to call into command, which the sniper does, and then provides a description of the suspicious person and rangefinder. The sniper said the suspicious person was lurking around the AGR building, Johnson's office said. There was a text thread that was going, Paris said. They took a photo of him at some point when he utilized the rangefinder. The suspicion was heightened.
So now we're on the third time where now he has a rangefinder.
Yeah.
The rangefinders are used by golfers and snipers. That's kind of, I mean, I don't really know why else you would need a rangefinder. I mean, yes, they usually have maybe 5, 6, 8 time magnification, so you can kind of use it as a monocular. But I mean, a rangefinder's a few $100, depending upon which ones you get, where you can just go on Amazon and grab a $20 pair of binoculars. I don't know why, you would need a rangefinder. That's another red flag.
Suspicion was heightened. I know from an interview that was immediately relayed on the command post to the Secret Service. July 13th, 5:52 p.m. Republican Missouri Senator Josh Hawley, who was briefed on the assassination attempt, said a sniper had eyes on the suspicious person with 20 minutes before Crooks began firing. 20 minutes.
20 minutes again. So I mean,
had eyes on him.
Again, it's just this guy's, he keeps popping up. He keeps popping up, and we're taking pictures of him. We're noticing nothing's being done.
Paris confirmed this on July 24th, saying the sniper took a photo of the person and sent it to a sniper group chat.
Who's Paris?
I'd have to go up and look again. Okay. Paris was, I don't know. I forget.
So Paris took a picture.
Well, Paris says this is what Paris is. Paris confirmed.
Oh, he confirmed it. Okay.
This. Yeah. All right. So now we're at this. So they sent the picture to the group chat. Crooks reportedly assessed the roof by clambering up an air-conditioned unit. Although he purchased a ladder from nearby Home Depot, blah, 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 he did not use it to scale up the building. July 13th, 6 p.m. Trump walks up to the podium at the Butler Farm Show just after 6 p.m. and speaks to a crowd standing on all sides of him. He should have never been allowed to walk up that stage.
No, so go down. So just back up one. They're saying he bought this ladder at a Home Depot. Is there any tape of that?
Not that they showed. But I'm sure there is. If it indeed
you would
happened,
show it.
If it indeed happened,
you would show it.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Yeah. Well, okay. So that's that. Now Trump's on stage.
No, Trump at this point, again, there's so many stupid ass things that are happening that, it's one of those. How did we get here? It's like you should have never got. People ask, well, at this point, what should you do? It's like you should have even never got to this point because so many other things could have been stopped. So now that you're here, he should have never been. At some point, if snipers are taking pictures and there's if the Secret Service is going back and forth over their comms about a suspicious person, the detail team, the team that's actually the uniform team that's actually with Trump, okay, that keeping him inside that secure box or combat diamond or whatever you want to call it, those people would have absolutely received word that this is going on. There's 100%. If there's this much chatter going on about a suspicious person, there's a bike, there's a bag, all this rangefinder stuff, the inside detail group, his direct hands would have absolutely heard this. And I cannot fathom someone not saying, Mr. President, we're going to stand by until we have this figured out. I cannot fathom that happening. Not happening.
The fact that they let him. The fact that they let him go on stage, all this information is going on. Even if it was a suspicious person or they deemed it a threat, which at this point it should have been deemed a threat.
Even if you don't,
but you stop the suspicious person to decide if it's a threat.
Correct.
Or not.
That's where I'm. Yeah, that's where I'm.
That never happened.
If he's suspicious,
this is policing 101.
It is. This has nothing to do with even Secret Service. I mean, this is just like you said, it's policing 101. If he's popping up this much on the radar, he's a suspicious person. Did he commit a crime? Well, no, we don't know. But there's enough of the hairs on the back of your neck standing up.
We have reasonable suspicion.
We have suspicion to stop this guy and just question him. Yeah. This is not a guy walking down the street on a Sunday morning where it's like he's not doing anything wrong. This is when you're dealing with You know, the president of the United States, like perfect. You can open carry, all right, in Pennsylvania. It's a great carry state. You cannot just open carry the day the president, you know, you can't do that. Why? Because there's a reasonable expectation of protection for this dignitary figure. So I'm not saying your rights by any means go out the window, but they do have the right to stop you on this suspicion when you have a former president. So again, if you think he may be a threat with that suspicion, what you're doing is to confirm it or deny it.
Yeah.
That's it. So again,
you have to rule it out.
Rule it out. That's it. You stop him, you do a pat down, you ask him some questions. If he doesn't want to answer them, fine, he doesn't have to, but you're out.
Yeah.
That's the end of it. You don't have to answer the questions, but you're not going to be here.
Yeah.
So again, the reason we're at this point is because they didn't do their job 6 times before.
And I would venture to say now we're talking federal level, like local police. You got there's reasonable suspicion, probable cause you have to follow. I would imagine federally, when it comes to guarding the president, you have a little bit more leeway.
Yeah, and the police aren't even really going to question him much. The police are going to stop him. They're going to bring him over to an area where the Secret Service are, and the Secret Service are going to. I think they actually have some kind of room, and they're going to bring him in there and question him.
To backtrack, Christopher Paris is the Pennsylvania State Police Commissioner. That's who Paris was. We were asking who Paris was. He's the Pennsylvania State Police Commissioner. All right, so let's go. So now we
well, they're saying he never made it through. Well, he didn't need to make it through.
No,
because he was planning on shooting just outside the perimeter because the perimeter was so friggin' small. The perimeter should be a minimum of 300 to 400 yards.
Well,
minimum of 3, especially in a rural area. It should be a minimum of a few hundred yards.
AOC, and I was actually like shocked at the question when she asked this. Now, because you know. When I say the question, like you and I, we're probably going to think about the same thing right away. She asks, what's the range of an AR-15? I think. Well, actually, I'm sorry.
Effective, like 600.
I'm sorry. She didn't say that. She said the range of an AR-15. She said is 400 yards. It's more than that.
It's about 6. It's like
yeah.
Marines qualify 500.
But either way, she was like, well,
or 500 meters.
If the range of an AR-15 is 600 yards, how come you didn't have anybody at 600 yards? Okay, good question. But at the same point, what's the range of? You can pick another one who has higher. You can't have.
But it has to be reasonable.
Sure. You can't have agent 1,600 yards away.
A 338 Lapua has a 1,500 yards,
1,500,
a 50. I get it. Yeah, you can't sit there and say we have to have a no.
You just don't have manpower for that.
But at the same time, you can't sit there and go.
Well, we had a sniper.
I'm going 150.
We had a sniper in Beaver Township,
and it's not a manpower. It's really not a manpower thing. The Secret Service. One, I don't believe they don't have manpower.
Well, no, I'm not saying. I'm saying to cover every range for every gun, every rifle out there.
Well, no, yeah, I know. Where does it stop? But we can all agree this is not it.
Mm-hmm.
This is not it.
No, again, 150 yards. That's rookie.
If it's 500 yards away, you're making him work for this shot.
Yeah.
If it's 130 or 40 yards away, it's a chip shot.
Mm-hmm.
So they could have easily had. I don't believe that the Secret Service didn't have manpower. That's complete nonsense. I don't believe that. Even if, hypothetically, they didn't, they could easily call up Pennsylvania State Police, say, we need more people here. Shapiro would have sent people over. You could have asked for National Guardsmen just to stand on corners so the cops can then move in more.
Yeah.
All right. So if you're just talking about you're wasting manpower standing posts on the outside perimeter, you can call in National Guardsmen, which we've had done before when there's dignitary protection. You have 2 or 4 people on a corner. I mean, these are kids. They're not doing anything but standing that post and relieving the police to move in and then occupy more high ground.
Yeah.
This is it's absolute nonsense to believe this was a manpower issue. It wasn't.
All right. So we're at 6 p.m. Trump walks on there. He should have never been on the X. He should have never been there. This is a picture of somebody else looking. Okay. So minutes later, some rally attendees start pointing towards someone with a rifle on a nearby rooftop, according to witness accounts and video footage. Now, anybody can find this video. It's out there. You have people yelling, he's got a gun, he's on the roof. This is minutes before the shooting happened. Still nothing happens. A local law enforcement officer climbs onto the roof and sees Crooks with a rifle, sources told Fox News. Crooks points the gun at the officer, who falls back, a source said. July 13th, 6:11 p.m. Gunshots ring. So 6:11. Gunshots ring out from the direction of the person on the rooftop for about 26 seconds. There's video of that. Former president holds a hand up to his ear and then ducks for cover. Secret Service agents surround him on stage. Some attendees think the shots are fireworks or firecrackers. Takes a minute for everyone to register that they need to get down. One woman screams.
So, stopping here for a second, when we're talking about the shots fired, I've talked with, we spoke about it. I talked with a couple buddies of mine on the SWAT team who went through sniper school. I went through outside of the department years ago. If you listen, and I'll throw a shout out to, I think it was Heavy Duty Country and Black Scout Survival. Those guys did decent audio for the shots. You hear 3 shots in a pretty rhythmic pattern, like someone's actually aiming at a target. You hear those 3 shots. Mm-hmm. Then you hear a return volley. I want to say it was like 5 shots. It's a different pattern.
Well, it was 8 altogether, right? 8 altogether, allegedly.
I believe it was 8
from the shooter, allegedly. That's
what they're saying. Which, whatever. But you hear 3 controlled bursts with a specific sound. Mm-hmm. Then you hear it sounds like a return volley. Mm-hmm. It could just be the shooter, but the problem is now it's more sporadic, and it's a different sound. If you listen to the first 3 and then you listen to the next quick 5 or whatever it is, they're different sounds. Then about 6 or 7 seconds later, you hear, it sounds like a dead check shot. It's just this one shot, 6, 7 seconds later, and it's suppressed. You can tell it's a suppressed shot, which is coming from the Secret Service. Which is probably coming from the Secret Service snipers because they have bolt action suppressed rifles. Mm-hmm. However, what they were trying to say was the Secret Service at first, they returned fire. So those 5 shots or so afterwards came from the Secret Service. Well, 2 things. 1, they weren't suppressed shots. 2, they were semi-auto shots because they were coming off quick. You are not, if you shoot bolt action, you are not shooting that quick and accurately. And I think they have 300 Winchester Magnum rifles, which are big boy rounds. You are not recovering from your recoil that fast, engaging a target, even at 150 yards away, accurately that fast. It's not happening, which then made me, talking to a couple buddies of mine, go, who had like an SR-25 or an the SAS, I think it's an M110 SAS, which is what the Army was using for a sniper. It sounded like someone was shooting semi-auto back. Mm-hmm. And then you hear the one suppressed shot. So we kept hearing these. Usually the pictures you're seeing online, it's the 2 snipers in black. They have the bolt action rifles. Well, that's all. At first, it's like, well, we only had 1 set of snipers. That was it. It's like, well, clearly the return fire then wasn't those snipers because it was semi-auto and it wasn't suppressed. What we're seeing on the picture are bolt action rifles suppressed. So it wasn't those guys who returned the fire. Then they're saying, well, no, it was crooks that did all 8 shots. Well, no, it wasn't, because the first 3 shots did not sound the same as the next 5 shots. So it didn't come from the same gun. It's like one of those, when you know. When you've done it and you've heard shots long enough, you know these are not the same. Also, the snipers, the Secret Service, the scope that they're using on the rifle is a Night Force scope. It's a 7x35 magnification scope. Now I have a Night Force. It's a 15 magnification scope, and you can see at 150 yards, you can probably see the whites of someone's eyes. And if not, you're close to it. With a 35 power scope, you can see their thoughts. Yeah, it's insane. You can see through them. So again, how these people didn't know this was going on, I have no clue, and I do not believe the story. Now they're saying there was another sniper team up there. How do you not know this? When you do a debrief,
what do you mean they're saying there was another sniper team up there?
Now they're saying there was more than one sniper. It wasn't just these guys.
No, it wasn't.
Now they're saying there were more snipers. Well, at first it was, we only have 1 team. Well, now, no, we actually had another team. How do you not know? You're going to have a diagram. You're going to, when this happens, you basically go on Google Maps, especially if you're snipers. All right, if you are doing some form of Overwatch or high ground for an event like this, you're going to go on Google Maps. They're going to tell you where you're going to be. You're going to be on building A Alpha. He's going to be on B Bravo. You're going to get like that satellite view of the ground. You're going to print it out, okay? And you're going to put on there, okay, AST team or anti-sniper team 1 is going to be here. AST2, AST3, and you're going to have it mapped out. And you're also going to do a range card. And a range card is basically you're going to draw out the area, or you can actually use the same printout you do on Google Maps. And it looks like you're doing like a little bit of a rainbow. There's arcs. And you'll have one arc and it says 100 yards. The second arc, 200 yards. So you know how far away all these targets are. Instead of trying to think when something goes wrong, you'll know just by looking at your little cue card or your little range card or dope card. You'll look at, exactly where everything is. It seems like for whatever reason, this wasn't done. We're not talking about it. And for them not to know another sniper team was set up, I don't believe it. I do not believe any of this.
Well, I thought there was 2 the whole time, because from the beginning,
they said there were 2 snipers, 1 team. That's
I got
the picture that we're seeing here.
And then they had another
2 snipers, 1 team. Then they're saying no, there were 2 teams.
Well,
where was the other team?
On the other building. There was the one building right behind the stage where these both snipers were. Right,
but the problem is that's not high ground. If you're indoors.
No, I'm not talking about the indoor man. The indoor guy was a local law enforcement officer who was in the AGR building where the shooter shot from, in that window.
On top of the building.
Yeah, so from the beginning, from what I saw, every diagram was the snipers that you see right here in this picture, who actually wasn't the team that took out the shooter. And then the picture
we're talking about is the one that you see all the time. It's the 2 guys in black with the bolt action rifles looking.
But then I saw there was another building. So let's say a stage is right here. This is where the stage is. You had a building here and a building here. The diagram that I saw, we had the 2 snipers here, and then you had the 2 snipers on this building.
When did you see that diagram, though?
The day of.
Really?
Yeah. So maybe the next day.
All right. So the original things I was hearing, there was only 1 team. 2 guys, 1 team.
Yeah.
It's the picture that it's the most popular picture we're seeing.
And that's actually, like, at first, I assumed the picture that we're seeing, that the one guy, that he was a spotter. I didn't even know. I just assumed that was the shooter. He was a spotter.
So it's 2 guys with rifles. I mean, usually with the way we would set it up, you have 1 shooter, 1 spotter.
Yeah.
And the spotter is basically the guy who's on glass a little more. He's helping the sniper out. The sniper's usually just a trigger puller. But here you have 2 guys with rifles. I'd honestly rather have that, because the scopes are so damn powerful. Mm-hmm. Usually a spotter, the old days, you had like a big magnification and also spotting scope.
And also, let's get back to the fact that they're using bolt action. So let's say this guy misses.
You have to have exactly. Right.
So the picture that we're looking at right now, like I said, if I can figure out how to edit it, I'll try to show the picture. The picture that we're looking at right now, this is the picture where a lot of people are assuming something, like the tinfoil hat wearers are assuming that they knew about it, because right before the shot happens, the one sniper looks up and he kind of like hesitates, then he goes back down after the first shot. This is not the team, from what I understand, who actually took out the shooter.
Yeah, I mean, coming off glass, and he's looking through there and he brings his head back. Sometimes, like, again, if you're looking through that glass for a while, looking through the scope for a while, you just get like that retina kind of burning your eyes.
I mean, because you're not scanning. You're literally, for me to look from that building to this building, it's this.
He had the look when I watched the picture, the look like I'm thinking was, he's looking through that scope going, this can't be what I think it is.
Yeah. And it also could be, because a lot of snipers, you see in movies where they close one eye.
No, you keep both open.
No, you keep both eyes open. So he may have seen something, looked up to readjust.
Correct.
And then moved.
The other thing we heard too was that the shooter was partially blocked by a tree branch.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'll give this guy a little bit more of the benefit of the doubt, where he may be looking through trees or something like that. But if that
shot was phenomenal too. Like the way they're talking about it, it was like a 1 in whatever
who shot it.
The sniper who took out the assassin, because he was going through the tree. So he had like a very small window.
Well, this is also why you use something like, when you have a 300 Winchester Magnum, it's basically a 308 on steroids, and it's meant to really punch through things. So instead of using something like a 5.56 or a 308, I think would have did the job fine. But a 300 Win Mag, it's a heavier bullet, it's a faster moving bullet, and it's gonna punch through leaves or small little branch. It's gonna punch right through that.
All right, let's go to now we're on July 13th, 6:12 p.m. This is a minute after the shots. Secret Service agents can be overheard working to target the shooter using code names and firing in specific directions. The shooter is lying on a nearby rooftop about 150 yards from where Trump is speaking with an AR-15. A local tactical team first took and missed. There you go. A local tactical team first took and missed a shot at the would-be assassin. So they're most likely the ones using the semi-automatic. Then a Secret Service agent quickly shot the assailant, Crooks killing him on the spot.
Okay, so maybe that's what we heard. So you hear 3, then that burst of 5 could have been the other team shooting back, ridiculously.
Yes,
and then that one suppressed shot could have been.
Because at first
I think that's a dead check shot. I actually think
at first I thought that he shot Trump. Trump went down pretty quickly after the first shot is when he felt it. Goes down. And I kind of thought that those burst of shots were him trying to get him now that he's down, because now they know me. Now
but the sound was the sound was different.
It was different. Yeah, that's what I first thought. All right. A source familiar with the investigation into the shooting said the Secret Service sniper got a 1 in a million shot.
See,
the sniper can only see Crook's gun scope and the top of his eye and forehead because of the lip of the roof blocking his view.
It's not that hard of a shot.
The top of his eye.
It's not. So, okay. So think about if you're on some kind of small A-frame roof, right? Mm-hmm. You're like this, and here's the peak, right?
Yeah.
And let's say Crooks is kind of over here. He still has to put the barrel and the sights over the peak so he can see down. So you're still going to have about that much head to shoot at, which is it is a tremendous amount of target. I mean, even if you're just poking up 4 or 5 inches of your head, you're talking about you're only 140, 50 yards away. Most gun, you're talking about the Secret Service probably has, with the scope and the gun, it's probably a $10,000, maybe even a $12,000 gun. Okay, 150 yards on a 4 or 5 inch target is absolutely nothing. Those guns shoot half a minute of angle. Half a minute of angle is the usual measurement where you're going to say the gun is capable of shooting half-inch groups at 100 yards. So at 150 yards, it's capable of shooting 3/4-inch groups. All right. Even if you go up and say 1-inch groups, you're still talking about he's only 140, 150 yards away. Mm-hmm. The hardest part of that shot is remaining calm to take it. The shot itself, skill-wise, is nothing. I can put my wife behind the gun on that one. Once you're there, you're there. And again, having a 35 powered scope, it is not a big deal. That is not a difficult shot to make. The hardest part about that shot is just remaining calm as he's shooting at the president. That's the hard part.
All right, so we did that. Now we're talking. So now the shooter's taken out. Now we're getting into the Secret Service agents moving Trump off the stage. This is July 13th, 6:13 to 6:20. They move him off stage into a security vehicle. Photographers capture blood smeared across the former president's face after his ear was nicked by what will later be confirmed to be a bullet. His motorcade prepares, and then you see the iconic fight.
That was
fist.
Great. That was great.
July 13th, 6:40 to 6:50. Secret Service Chief of Communications, Anthony Guglielmi, releases an official statement saying an incident occurred the evening of July 13th at a Trump rally in Pennsylvania. An incident.
Yeah. If you look up this guy's name, too, he's been involved in other nonsense, too. He seems to be a career screw-up who is a company guy and always winds up with a job somewhere in the government. So if you look up that guy's name, he's been involved in nonsense before.
Well, right after, shortly after, I would say about an hour and a half, or maybe even before that, the titles of articles that were coming out from the mainstream media were ridiculous.
Oh, Secret Service, Russia state. What was it?
After Trump falls.
So yeah, it was something like that.
After loud noises.
Yeah.
Come on, dude.
Not even
loud noises don't cause your ear to bleed. Well, maybe sometimes it will.
Yeah,
but not the top of your ear.
You couldn't downplay it any more than they were. Mm-hmm. And this was They were so afraid
to say that Trump was just shot, stood up, strong, because he still got off the stage better than Biden did, not shot on any given day.
Yeah. Well, same guy take down Biden.
Yeah.
Bill Maher actually said it pretty. He was pretty good. Like it was maybe a few days after this. He said like Joe Biden can't finish a debate and a bullet can't stop Donald Trump.
Bill Maher said that. July 13, 7:40 p.m. to 8:50 p.m. Trump was hospitalized. Donald Trump Jr. informs the media his father's doing well. President Biden issues a heartfelt statement.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't say that. I added that in. Saying he has been briefed on the shooting at Donald Trump's rally in Pennsylvania. And this was his statement. I'm grateful to hear that he's safe and doing well. I'm praying for him and his family and for all those who were at the rally as we await further information. Biden says, Jill and I are grateful to the Secret Service for getting him to safety. There's no place for this kind of violence in America. We must unite as one nation to condemn it. And then about 3 days later, they go back to the division.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
No politician. Any politician, I don't care what side they're on. When they say this crap, it's just to save face.
Right.
They don't mean it because days later they're going back to the division.
Right.
And both of them are in the business of keeping us all divided and us at each other's heads so they can.
The only outside politician I actually believed who felt bad was RFK Jr., who's been through this a couple times himself. And
they denied him service. And
Trump's actually the one saying they should give it. He's saying they should give it to him.
Absolutely. And then what? A day or two later, he was finally granted Secret Service service. And that's pretty much it as far as the timeline goes.
Honestly, I wouldn't want to.
Here you go. So we had a sniper team here,
right,
and a sniper team here,
right.
Here's the stage.
Mm-hmm.
Shooter was over here.
What about the water tower too? Right,
there was a water tower. Yes, there was a water tower. Nobody on there. That's a little crazy because that's the highest ground.
Right. That's definitely somewhere. I mean, that's going to be the harder shot because it's further away. If you're on the water tower, if you have to take a shot, it's going to be harder because it's further away. You're higher up. So, you're going to have to. But again, this is something snipers do. They're going to get up there. They're going to take out their rangefinder. They're going to take out their sloper and get the math. They're going to do all this math ahead of time and know exactly where they have to be. If a shot comes here, and that's why you have that range card. It's basically a cheat sheet. Mm-hmm. Even if they don't take a shot from up there, they are in an area where they are looking the opposite way. So if you have a team set up here, so there's one team, there's the stage, there's team two, okay? The water tower is basically out here.
That's a great water
tower.
What
you have here, that is a good one. Basically, it's to scale. What you have here is basically a triangle, all right? The problem without this water tower is now these groups have to split up, and at one point you can have everyone's back away from having this water tower here is just that safety guard where now it can see everything these two teams are looking away from. This is seeing what's coming at it. Mm-hmm. Even if this team can't take a safe shot, what they can do is say AST1 or AST2 to this. They can kind of be more of your eyes. Why wasn't a drone up?
That's one of the questions that.
Why isn't a helicopter up? Why isn't a drone up?
Why did the shooter have a drone?
Why does the shooter have a drone and no one's saying anything? I'm at a point where, they said there's two things going on right now. Even this was a planned assassination attempt, or they laid back so much on purpose they opened the door for it to happen. Mm-hmm. I believe the latter. I think we're at a point where
they just laid back.
They just completely and totally laid back. I think they had news on this was going to happen days before, and so to speak on that, the FBI. They found out that there was a phone number that's been pinging days before the assassination attempt outside Crooks's house. That same phone was also, we're being told, was pinging outside across the street or one house next to or one building next to the FBI building in Washington, D.C. So the same phone that's pinging outside the shooter's house was also pinging right outside the FBI building in Washington, D.C.
There was questions. I don't know if it was Kelly McEnany or somebody said was asking, or I saw a report, did the shooter speak with the FBI days before the shooting or what have you, or did he just visit the building? I don't know. I don't know what that means. Does it mean
who would visit the building?
Does it mean?
Why would I want to be all over the radar if I'm about to do this? Why would I be outside the FBI building?
Yeah, I don't know.
What knowledge am I gaining from being outside? And it's in DC. I think they said it's in DC. So why would he be in Western PA and then go into DC? That makes no sense. There's nothing you're gaining.
Well, like I said, there's still a whole lot of questions that we're probably never going to get answers to.
No. This is already.
I kind of feel like it's already been chalked up.
Sure.
You're not, like, in my opinion, and I think this is a huge reason why they had to get rid of Biden. Trump just survived an assassination attempt. Biden can't speak.
I think
he got annihilated in the debate. Time to let's put in Harris. Boom. Everybody's talking about that now. Nobody except for pretty much Fox News is talking about, and like Newsmax or whatever right wing conservative media there is, are pretty much the only ones still talking about the assassination attempt. The assassination attempt.
But right, exactly. But the problem is
there was an assassination.
I think the reason they got Joe Biden out of there is because the assassination attempt failed. I think they were kind of counting on this happening in a way. So you have
not necessarily planning it, but counting that something like this would happen.
I think.
What do you mean?
So I think there's been several plans in the books. I think they've been. The Kamala Harris coming in has always been a plan B. And I think one of the arguments was, okay, after that debate where he fell apart, clearly, Biden, there was other plans in the works. Now, some people say the government themselves were directly involved, tangibly involved in this assassination attempt. Others are saying, no, they knew about it and let it happen. Okay, either way, they had a hand in it, whether it was through neglect or intervening themselves. I think when Trump survived it, the plan B, if Trump was killed, they were going to keep Biden in office because Nikki Haley would have came in, and no Trump voters voting for Nikki Haley.
You think Nikki Haley?
I'm not saying Nikki Haley had anything to do with it.
No. I'm saying you think she would have been if Trump went.
Well, I don't know who else. I don't know how else you do it. I mean, you could. I think no matter what, you wouldn't have had the amount of votes for Donald Trump as you would for Nikki Haley or DeSantis or whoever, or even Vivek. I think at this point the country would be so pissed off. I think we would be in the middle of a civil war. But I think the plan was he'll be taken out. Nikki Haley will probably be pushed in. She's not going to win, and Joe Biden can go into a second term. And if he falls ill, then Harris can take over, and she'll just be the puppet after that. So I think when they were planning on him being killed, when he wasn't killed, then they realized, well, now we have to do something else, and that's why all of a sudden, it was, oh, he had a bad night at that debate. He had a bad night at that debate. And then all of a sudden it was, now he's got to go. I mean, he's crazy. I mean, right after,
like that.
But just like that, I believe they planned on this happening at some point. They planned on Trump being killed. They knew whoever came in wasn't going to get the votes needed, and they can go the way they're going. When he wasn't killed, then it was, okay, we got to get him out of there and put somebody else in. 100, and that was a coup, like you said. Yeah, they bullied Joe Biden. I'm not feeling bad the least bit for Joe Biden, but they 100%. Joe Biden was as stubborn and as steadfast, saying, "I'm running, I can do this." And then all of a sudden, it's like, "Yeah, you're right, I really can't." It's because he was probably bullied. If you don't do this, we're going to make sure Hunter goes to jail. We're going to make sure all your China assets are set. There was absolutely bullying going on. They threatened him. They probably threatened his family. He stepped down. Go sit in Rehoboth for the remainder of your time, old man. Enjoy whatever time you have left. This is the way it's going to be. And that is a coup.
Yeah. That's
a coup. So when they're sitting there saying the Republicans are taking democracy away from you, when they say that, they mean they're taking democracy away from them. Their democracy.
Every time.
It's projection.
Every time exactly. Every time they say the other side is doing something, it's usually because they're doing it. And all they have to do is say it over and over and over again, and people will repeat it. I've seen this.
Like, they just installed her. They literally just installed her. And they showed to us what we knew all along. Your vote doesn't count.
And you see, BLM, Black Lives Matter, actually released a statement going against the whole process. Not necessarily saying that they wouldn't have voted for Harris, but it's basically like, no, this isn't how this should be. And then I agree with them.
I don't think they want Harris because how many black people she's locked up and used for like basically slave labor to put out forest fires, keeping them extended past their terms. I that's why I don't think black people who are knowledgeable of her prior career look at her and go, you're bragging about smoking weed and laughing. You lock how many people up for doing it?
Simple
you're sitting here saying we need to correct the criminal justice system, but then you're extending people's prison sentences so they can do labor.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a slave owner. Let's just call it like it is. That is a 13th Amendment violation. All right, forced servitude. You are forcing these people past their sentence to serve you. That is 100% a 13th Amendment violation, and the 13th Amendment was put there to prevent slavery. So,
my whole thought on Harris is, she's not getting much of a boost.
It's a sugar rush.
Like 3%, I think.
It's a sugar rush.
I think 3%, and that sugar rush 3%
That's
is not a whole lot. It's not enough. It's not enough. I think the biggest lead that I saw, I think, was like 49 to like 43, Trump in the lead. And then like 7% or whatever it was for RFK Jr. Some are still undecided.
She's in a tough spot too for a VP. I mean, a lot of people are saying Shapiro, but they're also saying, I think he may be the safer bet.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people are saying Shapiro because they're losing Jewish votes. The problem is if you take Shapiro, you're going to lose Minnesota and Michigan.
Minnesota.
All right, so you may lose those. I can't. You can't believe that we're talking about it.
I can't. In 2024,
in 2024, it's like you can't have a Jewish guy.
A Jewish guy,
and he's our governor. Like, I mean, I don't sit here and say I like the guy, but he's kind of indifferent, and it's like.
Well, he ran on being a moderate.
I think he is fairly moderate.
He did run on school choice. If he is chosen as vice president, I guarantee that switches because that's not the choice. That's
the problem
that's
too.
Not the Democratic way.
They feel that the teacher way, I should say, not teachers union, they're going to lose the. They already lost the Teamsters.
I can't believe that.
I mean, they're in a tough spot. Mark Kelly would probably make more sense.
I think it should be Mark Kelly
to try to get some of the military vote back, but. I mean,
you're not going to get a lot of the military vote back. I mean,
I don't think so either. You're not going to get much. And she's. Here's the thing: if I'm Trump, if you're Trump, okay, do you even debate her?
Yes.
Really?
Can I have some more of that? And this is why. Because if you don't debate her, you're going to look like you're like a coward, like you're scared to debate her.
But what do you gain out of debating her?
She's going to talk. That's what you're going to gain. And she's going to talk and just say, we're debating today because debate happens. And we are here to debate. Well, on today, debate day. She's going to like Trump said, speak in rhyme.
Well, everything that we just said is going to be brought up. Plus the fact that, the problem going
and you have to make it you have to make it about Joe Biden and her track record.
Sure.
Because it was the Biden-Harris ticket.
Right. No, she's responsible for everything.
She has to answer for the border crisis.
Oh, yes.
And now they're trying to erase that she was the border czar. And when there's multiple clips put together that people, I forget who it was, put on YouTube, whatever it was, of every single mainstream media outlet calling her the border czar.
And here's the thing,
now trying to erase that.
You can even turn around and go, fine, you weren't the border czar.
You were still in charge of it.
Joe Biden, your boss, gave you the charge. He put you in charge of this.
Maybe he didn't give you the title czar.
All right, yeah. So we'll take the title away, but you were still given the responsibility.
And this is what happens. And they wanted it to happen.
Oh, sure.
Come on, man. Come on, man. They absolutely wanted it to happen. They want people to come in. And as much as they want to talk about the great replacement theory, it's racist. It's their, again, it's projection. It was their idea. They've been saying it for years. They called it demographic destiny.
Yeah, if you don't have borders, you don't have a country. And if you don't have a country with the traditional values or whatever that country's values are, if people come in and they're not going to assimilate to those values, you don't have a country. You don't. You don't.
What's funny is they automatically take, if somebody says that they're trying to replace the American voter or the American worker, they automatically call a racist. They say, "Oh, that's racist," and they try to make it as if you're trying to replace just white people. It's not about replacing white people. It's about replacing Americans, no matter what you are. It doesn't matter if you're white, black, Hispanic, Asian. Does not matter.
And the answer should be that. The answer is someone saying that is like, so you're saying America is only white?
Yeah.
So there's no black people.
They got to start.
There's no Hispanic people.
And I think JD Vance is more likely to do this. Start taking what they say and throw it back at them and make them explain. When they say something is racist, well, what do you mean it's racist? Are you saying that all black people or all Hispanic people are this or whatever the case may be? In the replacement theory, why is this racist? Nobody said that you're replacing whites. You're replacing Americans. Right. You're bringing in illegal immigrants from not just Mexico, they're coming from China, they're coming from all over the place to replace Americans. And they absolutely want them to vote.
And how is the Democrat Party a party for women when you're allowing these animals to come in, the real animals, come in and rape and kill your women? Mm-hmm. Whether it's Lake and Riley or the blonde, I forget her name.
Recently?
The blonde-haired mom. I mean, this is what's happening. So you can't sit there and say, you're a party for American workers where you're giving the jobs are being given up. The corporations are more than happy to take immigrants at 1/4 or 1/2 the salary, and you can't say you're a party for women when you're allowing these. And there are are there good people coming in? Sure, I don't want to let 10 good people in and allow one rapist in. That's not the way I want to play this game. So they're raping and killing our women. And we have enough crime in this country. We don't need to import it. Mm-hmm. All right. So
that's the thing. And that's why every time they say something like, oh, we have people being raped now. Yeah. Should you want more?
That's right.
It makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. And again, they need to take this. They need to take it back. Stop saying that. And the left has tried to do it for years. They try to say that we're against immigration. No, we're not. We're against illegal immigration. You come in here, you do it the right way. You did it the right way. There's nothing to argue about.
Well, how is it?
You get citizenship, go vote for whoever you want, whatever the case may be. And that's another thing. It's not necessarily that these illegals, immigrants are coming in and they want them to come in for federal voting purposes. The more people you get coming in illegal and you ship them out to certain areas, let's say areas where they lost congressional seats because of population moving, and ship them back in. That's where the replacement comes in. Because then you can get more congressional seats, you can get more Democrat voters, and you install Democrat congressmen, senators, and representatives, and so now I'm sure they would love for them to vote in federal elections. They're already trying to get them to vote in local elections, where you just come in and get a license, and when you get your license in certain states, it's asked, do you want to register to vote? Which party? Yes.
Did you hear what happened in Nevada?
Did you
hear what happened in Nevada?
No.
Tim Pool was doing something. They pulled it up. I may get the terminology a little wrong, but basically, they're trying to, like, people who are already trying to register the vote. Yeah. Apparently, there were 37 applications for registering to vote in Nevada, and 36,000 of the 37,000 came back with no matching Social Security number. 36,000 out of 37,000 are basically. You can't say they're mistakes. Mm-hmm. Not that many. No. Not. I mean, you're talking about I can't do the math. It's like 99% or whatever, 98%, whatever the hell it is. You're telling me out of that many, out of 37,000, 36,000 were wrong, and they're all just a mistake in numbers. Mm-hmm. No, I didn't know. They're already trying.
They're trying hard. Oh, and that brings me to, okay, so now we're going back a while ago when we were doing the audio podcast, DB3 podcast. It was asked, and we went over it. Who do you think is going to win in 2024? And I said Joe Biden. And I said not because he's going to win. I was like, they will do whatever they can to keep Donald Trump out of office.
Oh yeah.
They're worried they're going to go to jail. My opinion changed after the debate. After the debate, and after just watching him in just his typical not press conference because he really didn't do any, but just speaking. It started to change a little bit, and there's no way they can even cheat this, because he would pretty much have to get more than 81 million votes that he allegedly got in 2020. Mm-hmm. And Donald Trump, I think, got 76 million votes in 2020.
75 or something.
75, 76, which was more than I think he got like 71.
He got like 7 million or 8 million more than he got before.
Somehow Biden got 81 million. He would have to get more than 81 million, because I think right now Donald Trump's probably going to get like 78 million. close to 80, if not 80.
I think he'll break 80.
You think he'll break 80?
He's got a lot more than the black vote.
So now they're talking. All right, so let me get before I get there. So then I switch. I'm like, you know what? I don't think they can cheat their way out of this. Now
that's what
but now
too big to rig.
But now that they got rid of Biden, Harris, it's basically 2020 all over again. You can cheat again with the mail-ins. You can do it again. Somehow she'll get 87 million votes.
Well, no, I mean, but there's still. I think now the election staff or the Republicans now you're going to keep a much sharper eye out for this to happen.
You would think, but I don't trust them, man. I don't trust politicians. I don't trust.
Oh no, these people are.
There's too many rhinos.
People in prison blush.
Yeah, I don't, man. And as far as when you were talking about the black vote, I think and
the Hispanic vote.
I read
the Asian vote.
I saw a stat that 80% of blacks support Harris, which is, I think Joe Biden got 91% in 2020.
Yeah, something like that.
If not more.
Yeah, Trump's
that's huge.
Trump has doubled his black.
That's it. Like, people think that Trump has to get that. He doesn't need 80%. He only needs 20.
Well, I think they said if he reaches 22 or 23%,
game over.
It's over. Like there's no way you can win.
Yeah.
And he's on the precipice of it. Or even if he's a few percent, but he's literally doubled, if not more. And that's just the black vote. I think he's got more support with Hispanics.
He does.
I think
he does.
With all the bullshit going on in colleges,
not more than Democrats, but more than he had.
More than he had before. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's getting more Asian votes because of all the nonsense in the schools, like not letting Asians in because you're too smart apparently or something. So they're losing unions, and again they're losing some Jewish votes. I mean, he's gaining everywhere. They're losing everywhere. And you're right. This worries you because it's like, well, I mean, if I was a betting man, everything is going in his favor. Everything is going against them. He should smoke them. But somehow it doesn't happen.
Yeah, I don't want to hear any landslide shit. People are talking like landslide. I don't want to hear that crap because we heard that in 2022. There's a big red wave and it didn't happen. It was a trickle, if that. It was.
But you're actually seeing the stat.
Yeah, but I don't.
I'm not getting ahead of myself. You got to get out there and vote. You got to vote. You got to get out there and vote.
You go by polls. What was Hillary, like a 99% chance of winning the presidency in 2016 or 90%? It was at least.
Well, that's
90.
also the media allowing that to get out of control.
And they're in full head right now for Harris. Now she's the best thing since sliced bread. Whereas in 20, and here's a funny thing too: don't let anybody call you a racist because you don't want to vote for Harris, because their own party didn't vote for her in 2020.
She got like 1%.
She got like 1%. They had the chance to vote for her.
Tulsi Gabbard,
and they did not vote for her. So I don't want to hear that shit that you're racist because if you don't vote for her or you don't want a woman as president or anything like that. Their own party had a chance to vote her in. Had a chance twice to vote in a female president.
What has she accomplished? What has she accomplished?
Nothing.
Nothing
good.
Her entire career has been nothing. She literally slept her way to the top.
Mm-hmm.
So, give me a break.
Yeah.
But, yeah, hopefully Vance goes out there.
That's the thing, too. People are talking about Vance and the whole cat lady thing. Listen, man, nobody votes for the vice president. I don't think he wasn't my first choice. I'm not mad that he was.
I don't know enough about him.
Well, I wasn't a huge fan because he was an anti-Trumper for a while. Then it kind of seemed that they got on the Trump train because he was trying to run and he wanted his endorsement. So I was kind of like weary at first.
But, I don't trust him.
But since then, he has, he came out and he said, listen, Trump changed my mind.
Well, of course he's going to say that.
Of course he's going to say that's and
I don't trust him.
You don't trust him?
Nope.
Who were you hoping for vice president?
I actually like Byron Donalds.
Yeah, I
like him. I want a young guy in there. He's strong.
He would have been great in the debate too. And then you had nothing in the debate.
I was hoping for him, but I'm like, he's a little young. They're probably not going to pick someone young yet.
Yeah, but JD's young.
But I was going to say, yeah. I mean, I don't really know. Yeah,
they picked JD, and Byron could have been the same candidate. They picked JD because he can speak to the middle class workers in the Appalachia. They need Pennsylvania.
Well, look at Byron Donalds.
Byron Donalds is what, Florida? Is he Florida?
Florida. I mean, but he can still. But he's still. You have a black.
Yeah, you have a
vice president who can speak, and he's a guy. He grew up. not wealthy or
Yeah.
anything. So that's another guy who can go back to the community and speak real shit.
And he,
you know?
yeah, and he is doing that actually now. But no, I would have loved Byron Donalds. I like.
I would have liked him. I am very glad they didn't pick Rubio.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't want him.
Me too. I don't want Rubio.
But
what else you got going on?
That's about it. That's about it. I mean, it can change in a heartbeat the way things are going. But
well, this is our first show. When whoever watched it through, I want to thank you for taking the time watching it. You comment down below if you think what you think we can do to make it better. Comment, just engage on what you think is going to happen in the 2024 elections. It's going to be a roller coaster ride.
It was also to put some professional, a professional aspect on it. You know, when you hear like, well, the cops did this, or the Secret Service did this, or the snipers did this. Well, thankfully, you have two guys here who have done it, and in one way or another, or both. So, you know, when they're a lot of times they try to sell you bullshit because people don't know any better. You know, how many people can sit there and go, oh yeah, I've been on a Secret Service detail with the president. And I had high ground, not a lot. So when that happens and they're trying to feed it to you, thankfully, you know, it's been bothering me for weeks. And like I said, I've been talking to buddies of mine who are still in the unit and still doing that kind of stuff. And I made sure like, maybe things have changed a little bit. Like, no, they haven't changed. That either they're lying to you or they deliberately were negligent to allow that door to open for that to happen, which is just as bad. So, but that's why we really wanted to do this episode. You know, again, I know it's been a couple weeks since it happened, but I just want to kind of see what else they were saying. And then we were talking about, you know, trying to clear the air now that they've come out with their third or fourth story of facts.
Yeah.
So, but we'll see where it goes. We'll see where it goes.
We'll see where it goes. We'll see you guys next week. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video.